Hello and welcome to another video from Phoenix Counseling. My name is Justin Kennard, registered mental health counselor intern here at Phoenix. Today's video is actually going to be on hurricane preparedness. We are based in Florida, and this is early, but there's a reason for that. I also recognize that not all of our followers, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all that, I realize not everybody is from Florida, but I think if we're honest, feels like everywhere now is in a natural disaster zone, whether it's flooding, earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricane, squalls, you name it. And the power gets knocked out, ice storms. And so, those of you who do follow us and have watched any videos, it doesn't take too long to recognize I have a couple things I like to focus on. That's slowing down, and then regaining power and control in your life, especially after you've been through trauma. Trauma tends to bring us to this place where options were taken away. We generally did not have any power or control in the situation, whether this was physical abuse, sexual, emotional, spiritual, or some combination of those. So, a big part of learning to write your new story, at Phoenix, this is our specialty, is getting you to this place where you've gotten the insight in your story, you've grieved your story, and now you're learning to write the new story. So we're on this side of the fence. It's hurricane season-ish. It doesn't technically start for another, give or take, month. But here's where this is important. We have to also take into context where the world is right now. Obviously, the supply chain issue has been going on now, unfortunately, for a few years. We don't have to go to very far. You go to any grocery store, big box store, or any store, and generally you will find a shelf that's empty or not as stocked as it used to, or there's not as many options. So, what I'm proposing for today, and I'm going to show you a few things, but by no means is this some all-inclusive hurricane preparedness kit. The purpose is for all of us to start the process early, knowing there's supply chain issues, knowing that there's issues just in general going on in the world. A lot of times these hurricanes come and now people are dropping $200, $300, $400, $500, boom, that they didn't have to begin with, but now they realize, oh man, it's going to be pretty bad. I need a generator, I need all this food, I need this, that, and the other, and then we can't find this, that, and the other. And now the stress is astronomical. The whole purpose of this is to take power and control. We're not taking control over the hurricane, but over the situation to give us choices, whether we choose to evacuate, whether we choose to stay, or maybe we stay and decide, man, we do have to evacuate. You have options because things are prepared. So, start now by either adding like another canned good as you go grocery shopping each week. Maybe once a month you fill your 5-gallon gas tank. Any items you may need, slowly chip away at it. Generally speaking, we at Central Florida, obviously I ain't no meteorologist, but we tend to September, October really hit our peak part of the season. So take a cut these next couple months and be very intentional on stockpiling what you will need so that you have it. One of the big things for me is I don't want to be one of those running around day or two before the storm, gas station to gas station, store to store. I'm not interested in the stress. There's enough stress in this world. So let's get into it. Some of you may have medical devices like a CPAP or any kind of machine like that, and they require distilled water. Distilled water, not too long ago, was actually kind of hard to find around here. I don't know what that was about, but it's just, again, one of those supply chain disruptions. If you can find it, grab yourself an extra gallon or two and just put it in the back of your pantry, just in case. And make sure you have these medical supplies and these parts of it, whether it's you got to add a water or whatever the situation. Grab that. Some of you are like, Justin, why are you getting gas now? Because I've already filled up some of our gas cans. Isn't that going to go bad? If we don't, hopefully we don't have a hurricane period, but let's pretend we did in October. I strongly recommend, I know this is kind of mirrored, or it is mirrored, that you find a stabilizer, a fuel stabilizer. This says it's good for up to 24 months. I don't push my luck. What I do is I always tend to get the fuel between April, May, and June. And I put 2 ounces of this in each 5-gallon container. And then once hurricane season ends, which I think is November 1st, November 30th, I'm forgetting right now. Once hurricane season ends, I just use our gas to fill our cars. And then I just use it, and then the next year I restart. So, my gas is, 6 months old, 7 months old, whatever the math is. So I don't push the 24-month thing. I guess you could if you wanted, but I don't do that. Another thing, for those of you who have a generator, a gas-powered generator, a lot of times our first thought is, obviously, Justin, I need gas. Yeah. You also want to make sure you get this. This is the oil. Hopefully I'll focus. This is the oil that most of these engines run on. It's SAE 30. Some of them run on 10W30. It's usually a thicker oil, which is fine. A lot of these small engines will burn oil. Or literally when you buy the new generator, it doesn't come with oil. So you can't run it without oil, and you darn sure don't want to run it with low oil. So have this on hand, especially if you're going to be maybe running your generator for a few days straight. Who knows, the power situation could be a couple weeks. Have this on hand so that you can just add oil if it's low. And your generator can stay working and everything's cool. Let me put these down here. As far as food goes, again, start chipping away at that now. You don't need to go buy $200 worth of food in one shot. That's the whole point of starting this early. You can chip away at that and do a couple extra dollars each week for your grocery bill and build it up over time so it's not this big gargantuan bill. Here's the thing I think a lot of us focus on. We'll get some of the basics, maybe rice, beans, mac and cheese, canned chili, and, easy things. I'm honest, it's usually a pretty stressful situation if we're in a spot like that. And what you want to also remember, add some flavor. Make this somewhat a little bit fun and enjoyable. My wife is Jamaican, so she is from the Caribbean and she's part West Indian. You can get these jars of tiki masala, which makes making a dish super easy. Cook up some rice, throw in some chicken, pour this guy in, done. Can't go without your Jamaican curry powder. That'll make anything delicious. We got brown stew seasoning. And then if you're like, man, we get some coconut milk. You do a lot with this. Get some stuff. Again, this is part of that getting stuff early so you're not stressed and just stuck with whatever's left on the shelf. Think about what you and your family actually enjoy. Those of you with kids, it's already going to be extra stressful. Okay? There's not going to be the internet to distract them. So at least have some food that everybody in the house will enjoy and have some sense of comfort. Those of you with animals, whether it's your cat, a dog, hermit crab, I'm just kidding, I don't know. We have a box, it's an old shoe box, for Kamiko. It's Kamiko's hurricane kit, that's our cat. In this box is a couple cans of her wet food. We got a gallon bag of her litter, and I gotta add fresh kibble to another gallon bag, and then her medication. This is super helpful because if we decide to evacuate, whether it's early or maybe things are flooding or something's happening, we need to leave now. Everything's in a box ready to rock and roll. And we're not running around the house scrambling at the last minute going, oh no, we got to get X, Y, and Z. It's there. As far as Andrea and I's kit, this is part of it. It's in another bin that we just keep in the closet. And every year we just double check, see what we might have used and what we got to replace. This isn't necessarily an all-inclusive bin, but you definitely want to get one of these. It's an old school, just tuner radio. You throw a couple batteries in. Sometimes you can find the ones that you wind up. Those are super awesome too. You want one of these, especially if obviously there's no power. So you can at least connect to the radio and hear what's going on. Maybe the storm's coming back around. Maybe someone has power. Maybe there's an area of town that does have power, so it's maybe easier to get some gas or food or something. Obviously, having lighters, super helpful to cook. If you want to get charcoal or you've got propane or whatever you're going to cook with. It's another thing that tends to get lost in this. You can buy these packs of, I think these are from Harbor Freight. But these are leather gloves because, last year our roof got ripped up pretty good from, Hurricane Ian. You do not want to be touching stuff like that. That could have nails, screws, staples, and God knows what can be floating around if we have a real nasty storm. So, have enough gloves so everyone in your household can be wearing these on your way out, especially if things flood. Let's see. You also, which is helpful, you might want to write. I know this is mirrored and not the most helpful. But the point is, on this box, we wrote out everything that's in it, so we know that if we use it to replace it. So that's that. Again, it's another box and bin that if we decide to evacuate, there's not a lot of thinking. It's grab box, throw in trunk. Grab Kamiko stuff, throw in trunk. And we're out of here. The goal here is to minimize thinking, minimize stress, to have things organized and prepped, to give us as much options and control of the situation that's possible, right? Are there things we can't control? Yeah, we can't control the direction of the hurricane. We can't control how hard the winds will be, how fast the wind will blow, the rain, and all that. Flooding and whatever else. But we can control how we prepare for it. We can give ourselves options. You now have the power and choice to create options for yourself. So that's all I have. So please take this time to start preparing now. I already had a neighbor kind of make fun of me because I was getting my gas cans a week ago. I don't care. I really don't. It doesn't make no difference to me because I'm not going to be the one running to the gas station and seeing all the empty signs. Take the time now so you don't even have to leave the house. Make that your goal. That was my goal last year. And I mostly worked. I didn't want to have to leave the house if there was a hurricane. That was my goal. I don't even want to have to go. I'll set up things around the house, pull things in so I don't get blown away. But I don't want to have to go to the store. I don't like dealing with that stress. I don't like seeing all the franticness and the frenetic nature that happens with that. I'm not interested. There's enough stress in this world, to be honest. So, I think there's a number of places online you can get. Z88.3 has usually a hurricane list they put out. There's a lot of places online. You can search for that. I'd suggest you do that and just start checking things off slowly but surely. If you see a deal at Publix for BOGO, sweet. You see a deal at Aldi, awesome. You see anything on clearance, whether that's at Home Depot, Lowe's, CVS, well, whatever you may need, whether it's medical or just lighters and charcoal or, whatever. Memorial Day's coming up. A lot of times they'll put charcoal on sale. Grab an extra bag. Think ahead. I know it's hard because we're all stressed and got a lot going on. But take a little bit of extra time now, slow down, and look ahead a little bit to make your life easier down the road. You don't have to continue this road of trauma, which is high cortisol, high adrenaline. We don't need to do that. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please send us write down a comment. I'm going to post this on our YouTube page and Instagram and Facebook. And so, yeah, please, I hope you find this helpful. See you next time.